Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve G, and what we have this time is the Hatsukokoro Hikari SLD Santoku 170mm knife. So this knife is composed of SLD semi-stainless tool steel. It's a good knife for kitchen, or good steel for kitchen knives. I've got a number of knives with SLD steel. The heat treat's on this one about 62 Rockwell, so it's going to have nice edge retention. It sharpens up really pretty easily, so it'll get a really sharp edge if you do your part. So it works out quite well. It's semi-stainless in that there's just not quite the amount of chromium to qualify for full stainless status. I think that's 14%, maybe. I forget the exact number. But it will stain a little bit possibly as you use it. You shouldn't let it sit completely wet like you would maybe a full stainless knife and get away with it. So generally speaking, proper knife care would be use it, clean it, dry it thoroughly, and then put it away, and you're done. So generally don't leave knives sit, stainless, non-stainless, doesn't matter. It's just force a habit that I've developed, and it's just a good practice to get into. In terms of weight and dimensions, these can vary a little bit from knife to knife. This particular one is 134 grams or 4.7 ounces. Handles can either be octagonal rosewood or ebony. This one's ebony, depending on the batch. The edge is about 170 millimeters right on the money, or 6.7 inches from tip to the back of the heel. Overall length's about 312 millimeters on this sample, or 12.3 inches. Spine thickness, these are fairly thin blades. This is about 1.9 millimeters thick all the way down the spine. And then they thin out pretty nicely with the grind hitting towards the tip. So these have nice thin tips on them, generally thin blades, so these should go through product really well. There's your edge, pretty thin there at the edge, so this should be a very good performing knife. Height-wise, it's 46.4 millimeters on this sample at the heel. The back, they've got a small curve here on the choil end of the neck, so good spot for your finger for a pinch grip on this one. Let's get our beauty shot. We'll talk more about the handle and such. You can see a fair amount of polish to the blade. Here is the right side of the blade. Here you've got etched in kanji with the name SLD there, so you know the steel. And then here's your cladding line and then the core steel there. Here's the left side of the blade. Again, a fair amount of polish to these. Fit and finish, nicely done. They've got a little bit of rounding and polish on the spine, so that's quite comfortable. They've done a little bit of work on actually a fair amount of work on this one on the choil. So that's nicely done. A little bit of a relief down towards you can kind of see that right there. Out of the box edge, I'll give it 6 to 7 out of 10 on my scale. So pretty nice out of the box edge, although you could get it sharper. The handle again is octagonal, in this case ebony. It's one piece. Nice fit and finish on these handles, nicely sanded down to a nice kind of a sheen to it. And then they've got a good seal up job there where the tang goes into the handle. Ebony is a fairly dense wood, so that's going to bring our balance point back a ways. Balance point really is right in here because that handle's fairly heavy. It's not the shortest handle either. So from a pinch grip standpoint, that's going to bring our balance point back towards the handle. So it's definitely a little bit handle heavy. Rosewood, not quite as dense as ebony, so it might be a little bit more blade forward balance, but this one is fairly handle heavy. Let's look at our cutting board profile check here. All right, every blade might not be identical to this, but it gives you a general idea. So this particular one has just kind of a gentle belly or curve to the edge profile all the way down. No particular flat spot. It flows into maybe just a little bit of a flat spot in this area here. Typical sheep's foot kind of point where it's a low tip in relation to the center line. So surprisingly on this sample I can still get up in this area for rocking before the tip wants to dig in. So this will rock nicely over medium to small stuff, no problem. Again, not a lot for chopping, but rocking works nice. If you lift the handle a little bit, you can do tip draws through product, push-pull cuts, glide cuts. So I'd say pretty versatile profile. There's not a lot of flat on it. So if you're looking for something a little different, nice looking, nice fit and finish, thin blade with a good high performance grind to it, a slightly different type of steel, this is a nice package. This is the Hatsukokoro Hikari SLD Santoku 170mm knife from Chef Knives To Go.